Well, hey gang, how you doing? Jonathan here for Tailhunter Sportfishing, and it's time once again for the Mexican Minute La Paz video fishing report. Not coming to you from La Paz, Baja, Mexico. No, we're still on the road. Been almost 3 months now, doing all the shows crisscrossing the United States. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a minute. But this is going to cover all of the fishing action and what's going on in La Paz from the 10th through the 17th of March, 2023. Wherever you are, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for checking in. Really appreciate you spending time with us, and please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Well, I still haven't quite recovered my voice from that show we did in Orange County and the Costa Mesa Fairgrounds about 3 weeks ago. Still pretty raspy. We just were speaking so much, and like I said, we've been on the road for about 3 months now, doing shows all over the place, and my voice is just shredded, and we've still got another 4 or 5 weeks to go before we can go back to La Paz. So apologies that my voice still isn't in shape, but listen, got a lot of good things to tell you about. As I mentioned, we're still on the road, but listen, back in La Paz, what a difference a week or a day makes. If you've been listening to the fishing reports that I've been putting out, you know that this has been the craziest, wettest, coldest, roughest winter we can remember. I'm sure a lot of you in the States can attest to the fact that this has been a wild, wild winter. Well, we're affected down in La Paz as well. It's been very windy, very rough, very few days that we can put anyone out, and that's a big reason why I say November to April is going to be our off season. About the only folks who are really loving the weather this past few months are the windsurfers and kiteboarders who descend from all over the world to the La Paz area to take advantage of the very strong winds. And boy, they've had a great winter. But this past week, we had a couple of days where the winds kicked back, they dialed back, and folks were able to get out. Now, like I said, if you've been listening to the fishing reports, you know that I've been telling you there's fish out there, and when the winds aren't blowing, there are some great opportunities to get in on some of these biters that are out there. Well, this past week, we had a couple days where not only the locals, but also some of the folks that are on spring break or coming down for Easter are already in town. And I'll tell you what, the yellowtail have really gone off. North end of Cerralvo, the south end of Cerralvo Island, around Espiritu Santo Island, around Las Arenas and Punta Perico, and outside of Muertos Bay, there are some hog yellowtail hitting right now. And I'm talking some 15 to 30 pound fish. A lot of fish being lost. A lot of these fish are in the structured areas around the rocks and the reefs, and they're tough fish. If you've never hooked onto a 20 or 30 pound yellowtail, you're hooking onto a freight train. A lot of fish being lost, but they're willing to bite. They're going off on all kinds of live baits, sardines, mackerel, caballitos. They're even taking jig lures, and they're also taking rapalas, especially the dark colored ones that are trolled in and around the shallow areas. In addition to the yellowtail, there's also some stray dorado running around as well. That tells me that there's still some warm water in the areas, because dorado normally like water that's going to be 75 to 85 degrees. So there's some warm water out there that's either lingering from last year or maybe it's coming in early. There's also some tuna that have been hitting as well. Some big breezers were running around Cerralvo Island about 2 weeks ago. They were running 150 to 200 pounds. Now, none of those were biters. They were moving too fast for anyone to get onto them. But this last week, some of the local commercial fishermen, as well as some of the sport fishermen, were able to hit some 40 to 60 pound yellowfin tuna. Again, on the live bait, on the chunked dead bait, and also trolling rapalas. So really exciting. There's some great fishing to be had out there. Inshore, we've got bonito, we've got sierra, there's pargo, there's cabria, there's snapper as well. So there's a real big variety of fish. The key is that you've got to find that special date when the winds aren't blowing, or get in and get out before the winds do start cranking up in the afternoon. We're not out of the woods yet, as you know from listening to your my voice is starting to go again. As you know from listening to your weather forecasts, you know that winter is not done with us yet. So I know we're still going to get some more wind. So the key is look for those dates or talk to us, because we do watch the extended forecasts, and I can tell you what dates are going to be better or worse, or what days you should just stay by the pool, drink a cold beer, have some tacos, and just watch the ocean. It doesn't mean the sunshine's not there. It's a great time to be in town. 80-degree temperatures are not uncommon right now. Temperatures are very, very moderate in the high 50s, low 60s, very comfortable, a nice time to be in town, but not necessarily a great time to be on the water. So keep that in mind. We are still on the road, as I mentioned. Still got a couple more shows to do. Our next one is going to be back in Long Beach for the the Bart Hall shows. They're called the Bart Hall shows. I think this is going to be the 75th year. This is going to be the granddaddy of all the fishing shows that have been around for years. It's going to be at the Long Beach Convention Center. I'll post up some information about that in just a bit. But anyway, take a look at some of these photos. Keep in mind that, once again, you've got to make sure that the winds aren't blowing because the fish are out there. Anyway, a quick wrap up before I lose my voice. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for checking in. I'm Jonathan for the Mexican Minute. We'll catch you next week.